Okay, so welcome to the EFT tapping session. Before we begin, we're just going to tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, just bowing into our own inner guru, our inner teacher, our inner guide. I'm recording this now, so people that weren't able to join us live can still receive the beautiful replay and tap on their own. And so we'll just rub our palms together and just bring our hands to our heart in prayer pose. And just taking a cleansing breath here. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And just sighing as loud as you need to. And on the next inhale, we will chant the mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo, tapping into our inner teacher, our inner guru, our inner oracle. So inhale deep. Om Namo Gurudev Gurudev. Time. Om Namo Gurudev. Hold the breath here. And exhale. And next, I'll chant the protection mantra, which means truth in the past, truth in the present, and truth in the future. And so I just want you to imagine this beautiful white light surrounding you. And if you know the mantra, you can tune in as well. Ad Gurure Name, Jugar Gurure Name, Sat Gurure Name, Siri Gurure Name, Ad Gurure Name, Jugar Gurure Name, Sat Gurure Name, Siri Gurure Name, Ad Gurure Name, Jugar Gurure Name, Sat Gurure Name, Siri Gurure Name. Inhale, bring your hands to your third eye, opening up the space of divine consciousness and awareness. Exhaling your hands to heart, acknowledging the space and container of compassion, generosity, and kindness. Inhaling. And inhale, just bring your hands, palms facing up towards your knees. I'm just noticing the subtle shift of your energy from when we first started to where we are now, tapping into your own inner guide, your inner truth. And when you're ready, you can just gently open your eyes. And so in today's EFT tapping session, we are going to focus on the Wild Woman to honor International Women's Month. And I thought it would be so appropriate to open the space with the Wild Woman Rising deck. It's an oracle deck by Angie Sullins, and art is by Jenna Dea Rotaglia. And so the card that I pulled for us today is Embracing the Internal Mother. Embrace the internal mother. Often our best efforts at giving and receiving are demonstrated outside of ourselves, without ever giving ourselves the same generosity. The internal mother knows that you belong and that you are worthy of unconditional support, kindness, and generosity. Listen to her, let her spirit nurture you. When we cultivate her presence in our lives and take heed of her messages of worthiness, Wild Woman rises. And so in the card is this woman sleeping with this beautiful peacock. And so I just want you to grab a piece of paper, to grab a journal, and just write down any messages that the internal mother has for you today. And if you have never tapped into the space of what is that internal mother, just think of maybe your best friend, or think of connecting to your higher self, your inner teacher, your inner guru, and just asking for words of wisdom. Sometimes when we feel a little lost, it's hard to recognize our own worthiness. Maybe we're carrying on feelings of shame. Maybe we're in this portal where we're really exploring the shadows, and it's hard to see the things that we love about ourselves. And so imagine this internal mother as someone to remind you of your greatness, of your glory, of, if you're experiencing an ending, that there is a beginning. And so I invite you to just use this time. We'll take a couple minutes to just write down this message that we're channeling from her. Okay? So maybe you're going through a dark period. How can she say words of encouragement? How can she console you? How can she provide you some solace? Okay. So just take a couple seconds here. And if you're in the space where you have completed the writing, you have completed connecting to her, I invite you to explore, what does the Wild Woman archetype mean to you? Do you have a personal relationship to this archetype? Have you worked with this archetype before? Okay, so we'll just take a couple seconds here. Okay, beautiful. And so I'm going to read from the deck. Wild women and wildlife, along with the wild sacred spaces of our planet, are endangered species. After millennia of surviving a patriarchy that would plunder the natural resources of both inner and outer lives, humanity has begun to cry out for the sacred feminine. It takes a brave heart to reach for her, to claim her, despite the forces that insist on perfection and control. But in kitchens and studios and gardens and boardrooms across the planet and in our very souls, we have begun to cultivate sanctuary for her. We dare to speak of what is vulnerable and receptive, what is nurturing and authentic, what is divinely cooperative and creative instead of competitive and coercive. We demand a juicy life, one in which we are allowed to embrace our own wildish nature, rather than live another day in the dry and thirsty land of conformity. We bravely step up, step forward, howling with insistence. We will no longer live without her, knowing it is up to us to protect our greatest nature. And so when you think of the wild woman, it's almost this part of you that hasn't been tamed by other societies' prejudices, other societies' boxes for you to fit in, whether it be people pleasing, whether it be the good girl, whether it be the dutiful daughter, or whether it be following a job that doesn't align with your heart and soul. And it's almost this rebellious nature, this untamed nature that speaks to your soul, that allows you to not be in the way that society wants you to be. That conformity that it spoke about. And, hopefully with this tapping session, we can really tap into what are the blocks, what are the stories that we tell ourselves that we have to be a certain way. That we have to be a certain way that isn't aligned to our ethics, that isn't aligned to our values, that isn't aligned to our codes, essentially, that isn't aligned to how we authentically need to show up, how our soul is dying to show up in this world. And so I love EFT tapping because it's just a beautiful way to just really get into the energetics of the emotions that are stuck and stored in our body. And so if you've never done EFT tapping before, we will tap on the side of our hand. So your tapping hand is your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'll tap with my right hand. So we'll tap on the side of our hand. We will tap on the top of our head. And we will tap on the top of our eyebrows, side of the eyes, below the eyes, right above the mouth, below the mouth, and then the chest area, and then right here on the sides of our body. Okay. And so at any point in time, you are welcome to, if maybe a certain statement, you're like, oh my God, that does not resonate with me, that is totally fine. You can come up with your own words or statement that feels very true and real for you. And you can just check in. I invite you to check in with your body of how you feel after every session that we do it. Okay. So we're going to start off with, it's called the karate chop. So we'll tap on the side of her hand and you'll just repeat after me. Okay. So even though I'm exploring what the wild woman means to me and in my heart, I'm learning to be open and embrace what comes up for me tonight. And we'll say that statement 3 times. Even though I'm exploring what the wild woman archetype means to me and in my heart, I'm open to exploring and embracing what comes up for me tonight. Last time, even though I'm exploring what the wild woman means to me in my heart, I'm open to learning and exploring what comes up for me tonight. Okay. And so we're going to move towards the top of the head. This fear of invoking the wild woman. Move the eyebrows. So every time we say a new statement, we're going to open to move to a different part of our body. We want to learn more about her. I want to learn how she can show up in my life. I have a desire to be a wild woman. I have a desire to share my true self in this world. But what if I'm judged? What if I am rejected? And what if I'm made fun of? What if I'm misunderstood? I have this fear of waking her up. I have this desire to learn more about her. And I want to learn how she can show up in my life. I have a desire to be the wild woman. I have the desire to be authentic in every area of my life. I have the desire to connect deeply to my soul. And I have the desire to share who I am with the world. So I'm going to go back to the karate chop. Even though I've learned to close my heart and not share who I am, I'm learning to accept how I feel. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times. Even though I've learned to close my heart and not share who I truly am, I'm learning to accept how I feel. Even though I've learned to close my heart and not share who I fully am, I'm learning to accept how I feel. Go top of the head. These walls around my heart protect me from getting hurt. These walls keep me safe. So I don't get hurt from anyone else. But what if they're blocking me from relationships? What if they're blocking me from the ones that can help me nurture who I am? I don't know if I want to knock down these walls. I have this desire to explore who I am. I want to be brave and I want to share my truth. But I don't want to be scared anymore. It's exhausting to be my false self. It's exhausting to just be what other people want me to be. Because when I do that, I forget who I am. And when I forget who I am, I close off my intuition. And when I don't connect to my intuition, I don't connect to my body. And when I don't connect to my body, it's hard for me to connect to my mind and my spirit. Being the wild woman invokes the truth in me. Being the wild woman invokes my true essence. Being the wild woman connects me to my womb. Being the wild woman connects me to spirit. Being the wild woman connects me to nature. I become connected to the cosmic cycles of life. I become connected to my ancestors. And I have the power to connect deeply to my soul. And I have the power to deeply express that soul. Okay, so we're going to go on the side of her hand here. Even though I've been afraid to be different and question my friends, family, and society, I am learning to use my voice. Even though I've been afraid to question society, family, and friends, I am slowly learning to use my voice. Last time, even though I have been afraid to question society, family, and friends, I'm slowly learning to use my voice. My voice can feel a little bit shaky. I'm struggling to express my truth. I've kept it locked inside for so long. I have this fear that I'll be left alone. I have this fear that people won't talk to me. I have this fear of not being accepted. And I'm learning that it's okay to share my truth. I'm learning that when I share my truth, I break the patterns. I'm learning to bust through my own limiting beliefs and thoughts. And I trust that it will get easier in time. I know that using my voice can be a little scary. I know that using my voice will take a lot of practice. I want to release this fear of being judged. I want to release this fear of not being accepted for who I am. I want to release the fear of not trusting in my voice. And I want to feel more connected to what my soul is telling me. And I desire to connect with the voice of my wild woman. And I'm hopeful that it'll get easier with time. I'm hopeful that I will release the need to be accepted and loved by others outside of myself. And I forgive myself for not being able to say my truth. I forgive myself for playing small. And I forgive myself for acting like I don't have a voice. I forgive myself for caring more about what others think. And I forgive myself for not listening to myself. And I forgive myself for censoring who I am. even though I'm learning to accept the challenges of embodying being the wild woman, I'm learning to embrace the unknown. Even though I'm fearful of the challenges and the shadows of becoming the wild woman, I'm learning to embrace the unknown. Last time, even though I'm fearful of the challenges and the judgment of being the wild woman, I'm learning to embrace myself. Okay, top of the head. I'm afraid of the challenges that I'll face. I know I want to change, but I'm afraid of what will happen. I want to control how others see me. I try to be perfect. I try to say the right things. And I want to release that pressure from my life. I desire for self-approval. I desire to love who I am. And every day I'm learning to love my wild self. I call upon her to give me strength, to find the courage to be me, to find the courage to be brave and strong, to find the courage to wildly connect to my own heart. And I'm learning to accept these challenges. And I want to embrace the unknown. And I want to release control of how I want others to see me. I want to release this desire to be perfect. I want to release this desire to be liked all the time. I want to release the pressure to be what others want me to be. I'm choosing self-love. I'm choosing self-approval. I'm choosing to not abandon my truth. And I'm choosing to have the courage to stand in my worth. I know that I'm brave and I'm strong. And so I want you to just take a deep breath here and just acknowledge if you had any feelings come up, if you had any sensations come up, just tuning into your body and just checking in. So just taking a deep breath, closing your eyes, placing your hands on your heart, and ask yourself what's coming up for you. And so this is your moment to invoke the internal mother. And so I invite you to place your hands on the area that you feel the most tension, that you feel the most activated, where you feel the most energy. I just want you to give yourself a little massage. And just say to yourself gently that I feel you, I hear you, I acknowledge the pain that's being released. And I'm sending you love in this tender spot. And so really just give yourself permission to feel what comes up for you, to release the energy of just how we've held ourselves back and how we're taking back our own power. Okay. And so we'll begin tapping again on the side of our hand, known as the karate chop. So even though I may have lived for others, I'm learning to live for myself. And sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's not perfect, but we're learning to just be in this moment. Okay? And so we'll say that 2 more times. Even though I may have lived for myself, or I've lived for other people, I'm learning to live for myself in this moment. Even though I may have lived for other people, I'm learning to live for myself in this moment. Let's say it again together. Even though I may have lived for other people, I'm learning to live for myself in this moment. Okay, so move top of the head. This habit of suppressing my needs, I do it to avoid conflict. I know my true self wants to express herself, even if it means being uncomfortable. I'm committed to the sacred feminine path. I want to connect my heart and share my unbridled self. I want to be brave and be out of the box. And I'm releasing my false self. I'm releasing relationships that aren't aligned to me. And I'm learning to love who I am. I'm learning to connect to my heart. And I'm learning to live for myself. I want to release suppressing my needs. And I know I do it to avoid conflict. I want to express who I truly am, even if it means it'll be hard. I'm committed to my growth. I'm committed to this path. And I want to share truly who I am. I want to share my gifts with the world. I want to share all the parts of me that have been locked. I want to connect deeply to my soul. I want to explore who she is. And I want to connect to my truth in the present moment. And so even though I'm just starting on the journey, I accept where I'm at today. Even though I'm just starting on the journey, I'm accepting of where I'm at today. Even though I'm just starting on this journey, I accept and love where I'm at today. I'm proud of myself for showing up. I'm proud of myself for exploring my heart. I'm proud of myself for honoring all the ways that I feel like I have to please others. I'm releasing the things that are holding me back. I'm embracing my voice. I am embracing the strength to speak my mind. I'm releasing the fear of disappointing others. And I'm embracing my true essence. And I thank the Wild Woman for showing me the way. Even if it means I'm judged. Even if it means people think I'm crazy. I'm choosing to commit to this journey. I commit to using my voice. And I'm choosing my true self. And I'm choosing to love myself wholeheartedly. And I feel empowered to share more of my heart. I feel empowered to share more of my truth. I feel connected to this wild woman. I'm open to exploring who she is in my life. I'm open to exploring how she shows up for me. I'm open to exploring all the ways of wisdom she has. I don't want to suppress her anymore. So many other people have suppressed her. I don't want to do that to her anymore. I want to honor her. I want to love her. I want to choose her. And I want to welcome her. And so I'm inviting her to sit, to be in her own throne, and to know that she is welcomed. So even though I did a lot of work today, tapping into my wild woman, I know there's still a lot of work to do. Even though I did a lot of work today tapping into my wild woman, I know that this is just the beginning. And even though I did a lot of work today connecting to the wild woman within me, I'm excited for our journey together. I'm excited for what's to come. I know the journey will be so healing. I'm embracing my wild woman with a tender heart. I love myself and how far I've come. I'm releasing playing small. I'm treating myself with kindness and love today. I'm proud of myself for showing up today. And I'm proud of doing this work together. Okay, so just take a deep breath here. Inhale and release. And just tap all over your body, your arms, your chest, your back, your legs. And just seal in that energy. Just seal in everything for all the work that you've done. And just take a deep breath in. You can place your hands on your heart, your hands on your womb. And just take a couple moments. Notice the energy shifts from when you began to where you feel now. You connected in the middle. And just really tap into what is the feeling that is most potent for you right now. And I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting so dark in here. And so just really connecting to yourself, Connecting to your energy. What is coming up for you? Okay. And so to round this off, sometimes it's so easy after we do a tapping session, we're like, oh my gosh, we feel so amazing, all these different things. But what I want to do is do a Kundalini meditation. Okay, bear with me. Let me pull up the song. Okay. This is actually one of my favorite meditations. And I do it when I feel very lost, when I feel like I don't know the truth of who I am. And so when we tap into the wild woman essence, we are really, really tapping into our wild soul, the soul that knows before anyone else does. It's that wise, wisdom, infinite soul that we have, right? And sometimes when we're in this body, sometimes when we have all those projections from other people, we can feel very, very finite. And I want to remind you of just how infinite you are, that anything is possible. And when we are operating in that specific mindset and lane, that's when we start to magnetize all these opportunities. That's when we start to believe that anything is possible, despite what's happening in the economy, despite what's happening in the world. Like miracles are always available to you. And when they are available to you, it's because you know that you're in alignment with your true self, with your true soul, that untamed essence of who you are. And so this is called the I AM Kundalini meditation. And so what you're going to do is sit in easy pose. I'm actually sitting in my office chair. So just sit cross-legged. And so here it is. Yeah. So the right hand will be over the right knee. Yeah, no, the palm is flat, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, so your right hand is going to be in Gyan Mudra. Gyan Mudra is your index and your thumb are touching and the 3 other fingers are pointing up. And so it'll be palms facing up on your knee. So it'll look like this, okay? And so your left hand, your elbow will be bent and your palm will be facing yourself, okay? And so the left hand is going to be in front of your heart center. And so it's just 6 inches from your chest, okay? So it's flat and it faces you. And so what we will do is we will chant, I am. And so you're going to draw the hand closer to your chest, about 4 inches. And then you're going to chant I am, and extend it about 12 inches. And then you're going to take a short breath through the nose. And then you're going to bring the hand back to the original place, okay? So it's going to be I am 4 inches closer, I am 12 inches from your heart, I am back to center, okay? And so I am going to play this beautiful song that accompanies it. Let me share. Okay. All right. So right hand Gyan Mudra on your right knee, and then we're going to place our left palm facing us 4 inches close to our heart, 12 inches back, and then right at the center. Okay, so we'll start at 6 inches. Okay, And you're just going to close your eyes, and we're just going to move. And so we're only going to do that. We're going to do this for 11 minutes, okay? And how's this sound? Is it good? Can you hear it? And so the mantra I am connects the finite and infinite identities. The first I am identifies the finite self. The second I am emphasizes the am that is impersonal and transcendent sense of the self. All real mantras blend this polarity of the infinite and the finite in their internal structure and design. If you only say the first I am, the mind's going to respond with I am what? This sends the mind on a search of different categories, roles, identities that we play, right? Which we're trying to dismantle as we tapped into the wild woman. And so if you say the second part of the mantra, I am, the thought becomes, I am what I am. To be what you are is the essence of truth and will lead you to the nature of reality. And so a yogi will always cultivate the relationship between the finite self and the infinite self. And the mind forgets this relationship when it becomes attached to an emotion, an object, anything that we identify with who we are. And so one of the biggest, habits that a yogi can have is just instilling the mind the ability to break that attachment to that perspective, to that shift, and to constantly go into, oh, I am infinite. And so that's where your perspective of being comes in. So before you collect any types of objects, the body, whatever you choose to identify with, whatever other people choose to categorize you as, it's important to remind yourself of your infinite potential, that you are just beyond this body, that you have a spirit. Okay, and so that really, really locks you into that energy of authenticity and just your whole essence. Okay? And so with that, we're going to close. So just rub our palms together. Actually, I'm going to close, well, before we do Satnam, I'm going to read this from the deck. And it says, unmasking a myth. When they want to control you, they do not come with shackles made of iron. They come instead with cages made of shame and story. Like the one about the woman who earned crisis for her curiosity, so tempted by a life of wisdom and independence, she caused the downfall of all civilization. Women are dangerous, says the shame story of Eve. They cannot be trusted and should not trust themselves. Give a woman free choice and she'll eat the fruit. Tempt the man, enrage the god, she'll destroy us all with her mad desire to know, to discover, to understand herself, her world, her maker. Give a woman any freedom and she'll follow her curiosity, shape her own story, seek truth beyond the dictates of order and obedience. She will wreck your carefully controlled mandates, your reign of tightness. She will unmake your holy wars of right and wrong and infuse the realm with choice and instinct, empathy, outranking rules, creativity, eclipsing war, sovereignty, subsuming blind servitude. When you want to know, like Eve, when you have a taste for truth and a hunger for wisdom, you have to question the stories, test the facts, and rattle the cage. Who profits from you believing a lie? Who benefits because you believe you are both cause and curse? They have tried to burn you with their shame, strip you, violate you, shrink you, silence you, but they could not break your phoenix spirit. Its fierce heat will melt old regimes and inflame a generation who will not settle for smallness, for submission, for shame. Sink yourself into the feathered red sleeve of your ancestors and rise. Woman, rise again, for you are Persephone's daughter, Lilith's lover, and Eve's heir. Find the truth, eat the fruit, unmask the myth, and let it burn. And so by you connecting to your infinite self is the most courageous act of rebellion you can do, especially in a world that tells you what you can be in their finite perspective. And so with that, we'll close bowing to our own truth, because truth is our name. So just rub your palms together, placing your hands in prayer pose in front of your heart. And we'll close with the mantra Sat Nam. bowing to our truth, reclaiming that truth as our name. And so we'll say that 3 times. Inhale deep. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Peace to all, love to all, light to all. Sat Nam. Thank you for being a part of this session and practice today.